Change
Welcome to the Help Myself podcast. I am your host, John M. Singletary Sr., and I got to put that senior in there because I got my junior. He's back there having a good time, so he might make a few appearances. Y'all know how it is, but he's my co-pilot. He's part of the show, and he is who I do it for. And welcome to the most dangerous podcast in the land. Obviously, I say that because we are taking the power and putting it back where it belongs, and that is in the hands of the people. And guess who the people are? The people are you. So I am excited tonight. We're doing our special September So San Antonio series, and I have a very special guest. Now listen, I've been familiar with her. We've been connected on social media. I know people that have utilized her services, but I had no idea how amazing and extensive her experience and her story were. So a good friend of mine and someone who is no stranger to the Help Myself podcast said, hey, you need to get her on. And so she is here tonight to take some time with us and to share her story and her journey. And I'm excited. So our guest tonight is Ms. Davette Mabrie. She's been in San Antonio for a little over 40 years. So last year was year 40, so it's 2022. It's been a little over 40 years. She said she was born here, but she was raised out on the West Coast in California, in LA. We talked about going from Crenshaw to Watts to the Valley to all these places, and I told her about some of the family I got out there in LA, but, just an amazing journey. And then to come out here to San Antonio, Texas, when nobody was doing what she was doing and people acted as if they didn't have a need for her services. Well, guess what? Her and God proved all of them wrong. So without further ado, let's bring onto the Help Myself podcast, Miss Davette Mabrie.
Thank you.
How are you?
I woke up happy this morning.
Come on now.
I just woke up happy, I'm telling you. So I've been excited all day. Yeah.
I know I told you already, but I'm saying that background is popping. She said she got some museum pieces and all of that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the photos that you see in the white are photo albums of my work, and my work dates back to like the late 70s. And then the book in the middle with the lady with the locks, that book is called Dreads. And it's actually written by Alice Walker, and they went all over the world interviewing people with locks and dreads in their hair, because there is a difference between a lock and a dread. Big difference. Yeah. So I'm here to give you all, your audience, a consultation between the two so they can have an understanding. Yeah.
All right. Well, I gave you my intro, but how about you introduce yourself to the people?
Well, I am Davette Mabrie, aka Davette. That's all. I am the founder of San Antonio Natural Hair Society. It's an organization that I have formed here in San Antonio and surrounding areas. And basically, I am just going to educate. It's going to be done. Educate the upcoming braiders to be more professional, to have our communities to understand that what we do is something that is in demand, and we're no longer twisting and braiding hair for $15 no more. We have to really and truly charge you all just so we can live. We know the average 2-bedroom apartment is $1,000. We know if you go buy
where $1,000.
I I'm just saying on the low end. I'm just saying on the low end. And when did all this happen? What happened?
I'm telling you, if I could find 2 bedrooms for $1,000, I'd move wherever that was right about now.
Man, that is crazy in card notes. So we are now professional, and I'm just trying to train them all by giving them a certification, training them from sanitation, bacteria, working with different hair textures, how to deal with clients, how to build and keep your clientele, how to save your money so you can buy your own building. Our homes, our foundation, our land is our building. Because when you're self-employed, I mean, I have started 2 or 3 retirement plans, but life situations make me cash them in so I can maintain my building, my home. So when I get to the point where I feel like I don't want to do this anymore or my body won't let me do it anymore, I can trade this piece of property in for old folks' home. I'll be straight. So I'm just trying to get them all in that mentalness of you don't necessarily have to take out a loan to start a business. This is my 4th time starting over in my lifetime, and each time I never took out a loan.
See, we need to you know what? That needs to be your retirement plan. We need to record you teaching classes. Then we put you on the website and you sell the classes. You sell that information.
Yes.
So, that way you'll be making money even when you ain't there.
I know, but like I told you, I don't chase it. I let it come to me.
The law of flow and the law of attraction.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I have did my share of lectures and so on and so forth. And as you know, God, what is that little guy name? Anyway, one of the motivational speakers, Les Brown. Les Brown. I looked at Les Brown.
Oh, that's my favorite right there.
I was like, I saw him live. I was blessed to be in the same room with him. And like, I can do what he's doing. I do it behind the chair every day anyway. It just reminding people to do what you're supposed to do. And as long as you're obedient and be right standing, it has no choice but to come to you.
So take us a little bit on your journey. I'm curious, and we talked about it a little bit, but I said, let's not mess up and you give me all the information before we start recording. But how did you get started into braiding and doing locks and doing dreadlocks and all that?
I just naturally used to like working with my hands. Early elementary, I would crochet and make crochet hats, and I used to sell those for $5. I saw my mom's friend braid my older sister's hair, and I just sat there and I just watched her fingers. And in my heart, I knew I can do it, but I didn't get the opportunity to do it till one day mom brought a big box of wigs home, and it was a real long sheer wig, and I took it and I cut it, and my brother's girlfriend was stupid enough to sit down and let me try, and I got up to here. We ran out of hair. We didn't have $5 to go buy no more hair, so she walked around those braids right there for a couple of weeks until she had to take them down. And then I realized I could do it. And actually, I was babysitting for this girl. And I says, hey, I can do braids. And she's like, because she was going to the shop to get her braids done. And I braided her daughter's doll's head. And she says, next time I go to the shop, I'm going to tell Linda about you. And I'm like, okay. And she went and she called me. She said, well, Linda said, come up here. And I was like, oh, my God, because, I'm like 14 years old. So I got to go talk to this lady, grab my younger sister, took the bus, went up there. She says, go in the back and start braiding. And I wasn't finished. She said, you can have any share in here. What that experience did was it taught me how to be professional. It taught me how to analyze the hair. It taught me how to speak to my clients and sell extra services. And this is one of the main things through the San Antonio Natural Hair Society we're going to be teaching. Also that sisterhood of saying we're artists. It's no reason for you to be jealous of me. Just duplicate what I do. And it's not going to look like what I do. It's going to be your energy. So that old thing is that she's making more money than me. Child, there's enough of money for everybody. San Antonio's a baby. It's a brand new city.
It sure is. I don't even recognize. I haven't been back home in years, but last time I was there, I didn't recognize it.
It's gone cray-cray. It has gone cray cray. I know it's more than 9% African Americans running around here now. I don't care what your statistics say. I see them everywhere. We're everywhere. And we looking good.
Looking good. That's right.
We
That's
are
right.
looking good.
No, that's facts. They need to update that because I know with all of the influx with SAMC
Yes,
and all
yes,
the other stuff,
yes,
yeah.
yes. And then we having all these other people coming in, and I'm saying, I'm just calling out to all the new braiders and the new locticians that's coming into the city. I want to keep these people motivated because I do not want them to leave. San Antonio is U.S. International Military Base City. Yeah,
Military city, it is. Yeah.
international. So that means that we're getting this international traffic that's coming in. I get calls from people that's coming in from countries I can't even pronounce.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Stories because yeah, I'm coming to San Antonio. I won't be there for 6 months, but I'm letting you know I'm coming. Now, like, we're here. Come on in. If I can't do you, I can find somebody that can. And I want to be able to refer people out with the proudness and know that they're going to take care of the hair, they're going to take care of that client, and they're not going to rip them off. But I just want our community to know we're all expensive. I had a young woman coming to me, hey, you that girl that does locks? I'm like, yeah, I'm Davette. How you doing? She says, well, my husband go to this girl on Wasm and he don't like her and she charged too much. And I said, ma'am, we all charge too much.
You
We
know,
got
and that's the thing you got to get people in the mindset of, man. We worried about how much something costs rather than how much something is worth. You know, and when you think about the worth of something, like when you start saying we all cost too much, I'm like, no, y'all don't. Like I've seen what it takes to braid and lock and do all of that. Like y'all don't charge enough.
yeah, it's and that's another thing. Society says if you work with your hands, you're supposed to make $50 an hour. That's why when you go get your oil changed at the mechanic, it's $50 because it takes him an hour. So when the plumber comes to your house, you know what I mean? He's there for 2 hours. You done spend about $200. So I'm just saying, appreciate and respect us. As an industry, we are not cosmetology. We do not deal with chemicals and hair. We deal with hair and art. And there's a difference between the two. That's why the state of
Beautiful,
Texas,
man.
the
Beautiful
state of
art.
California, and I can just name off a couple of other states who totally released us from cosmetology because they realize, well, we see what you're doing. We really don't know what you're doing anyway. So I just want to be able to correct the young sisters that have the idea that they might be able to do it, shortcut them so they don't break nobody's hair off, and just educate them on how to care for it and work on a more professional level. So you can make enough money to move out your mama's house and buy your own house. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Facts.
You know
Facts.
what I'm saying? We want you to leave. We want you to just come Easter Sunday and Mother's Day and, that kind of stuff. Drop the kids off when I feel like babysitting, because grandma ain't grandma's no more. We be gone.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. The struggle is real.
We be gone.
Since
So,
you say you're about educating, we talked about something really quickly, but I'm fascinated to get a little deeper into it. You said, I mean, we obviously know that there's a difference between braiding and locking, but you said there's a difference between braids, locks, and dreads. You want to
yes,
talk about that a little bit?
yes. Dread, the word dread really came from the Dutch. We have to keep in mind that all those slave ships in the beginning did not make it to America. Okay, those brothers were rebelling, which is why they start scrapping us down to the floor. Okay, so when those first set of African men that rebelled ended up in that Caribbean island, which is why we have the Belize, the Trinidad, the Jamaicans, and the Puerto Ricans, and all that, just landed with those people, those native people, and then bring the old set of people, they did not have tools to make their combs. So back in the day, carving a comb was a special gift. Someone gave you a carved comb, that was like a treat. So when they landed on these lands, their hair just naturally curled and matted up. And then it just looked like a mess of mat hair. Okay. So when the Dutch saw that, they wasn't afraid of them because they have a gun, and they just basically told them, you all look dreadful. Except for there was a couple of islands that kicked butt that they didn't get a chance to come in and colonize. Yeah, so dreads just simply means that your hair has never received a comb. You just clean it. You just shampoo it. You keep it clean. You might put some natural moisturizer in it every now and then, but you just let it be. So you have fat ones, you have skinny ones, you have flat ones. You know what I mean? Then they pop off and then they come back. Because what happens is our hair sheds 50 to 80 strands a day. The doctor says more than 80 strands is a hair loss. Okay. But as that hair is shedding out, new hair comes in. You are right. I see you. You got enough of follicles up there. Don't worry about it. So what happens is when the new hair comes in for the locks, we take sections of hair and we form pretty barrels, whether the barrel the size of a water hose or twice the size of a water hose or all the way down to a toothpick. We sit there and we form those barrels. Just like the braids back in the day, we discovered if we made the braids small, like this woman over here, that one right there, that we can roller set it and it'll go into European hairstyles, which is how braids passed in the workplace back in the day. That's why we have to, now this is the West Coast. The East Coast was inspired by a lot of African people and Caribbean people. So the East Coast braiders, they braided more with the crowns and the big bulky look because they was trying to build their crowns. California wasn't playing that back in the day. California, you're behind to get fired. So we found a way to get you in the workplace and made you look more smoother, more professional, and more European hairstyles. So locking, we're training the hair to make perfect size barrels, and dreading, we do absolutely nothing. We just let it be.
Now, how many people knew that? That's one of those things when we turn it. They said we look dreadful, and now we celebrate the
Uh-huh.
beauty
Yeah,
of
yeah.
yeah.
And I try to correct people only because if they take a vacation and they go to New York and they see somebody with some badass locks and they run up to them and go, "Hey, your dreads, you get your feelings hurt like I did."
Oh yeah, I
Yeah, my
didn't know that.
hurt. I got my feelings hurt the first time I was exposed to locks. Friend of a friend went over to the house and something was going on. They're like, "Oh my God, your dress is so beautiful." And his brother he was way taller than me. He looked down and he says, "There's nothing dreadful about my locks." And I was like, "Yes, sir. I'm so sorry." You know what I mean? And from that day, because I was a good kid, he took a liking to me and he educated me. He educated me. He never showed me how to do it. He just told me what to do. You know what I mean? Now I gotta find somebody I can do it on because don't nobody want to do it because everybody's in the braid. They're like, "Oh, let me lock in, let me lock in." Yeah, by the time 90 hit real, yeah, people start asking for locks and
Sure did. Oh yeah.
yeah, they start asking for locks and I was like, yeah, especially for those clients who wore braids for almost 10 years. My locks is like an individual braid, except for I don't have to comb it out and put it back up. It just, I can let this grow. My hair would probably grow down to my ankles if I never cut it.
And I
You know,
love it. I love locks. I love
just let it be. Just let it be. Well, next time you come in San Antonio, let me give you a really good pattern. For real, this real talk. Let me give you a really good pattern. And then when you go back home, you find somebody to maintain it. Then you too be
it.
swinging. You be
All
swinging.
this stuff is all thin. I don't think I thought about it because my cousin, she's got locks and she's always saying, "Hey, you should try." I'm like, man, I don't know.
That's just it. My hair is also thin. So you have to find a professional who knows the pattern to put it in to make it look fuller.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
all about making it look fuller now.
I am naturally thin. With I wore braids for years, right? And then I took my braids out and I straightened it out, and it was long. And I told my mom, I says, "Those braids make my hair thin." She said, "Your hair has always been thin." I'm like, no, this never. So I went and looked at my picture in the second grade. I had two ponytails and it was about this thick. I was like, oh, I did always have the braids that take my hair out. But that's not knowing, that's not knowing. So my background is also been cosmetology. I went to cosmetology school, late teens, only because I wanted to figure out why Black women hair wouldn't grow, and I wanted to cut hair. So the whole time I was in cosmetology, give me some scissors, I would jack you up, And I studied trigonometry, which is the study of hair. But what I discovered was African Americans have 5 different textures of hair, just like we have 5 different skin tones. Okay. And we have a tendency of tearing our hair up. It grows. It's just that we want to straighten it, and then we want to color it, and then we want to put the perm on it, and then we want to put the curly perm on it, and then we want to slick it like this. So by the time we get through doing all that, and every time you go into the salon, your stylist has to cut and trim you to make your hair have shaping. So we never really see it growing. But when you braid it or lock it, you're not doing anything to it, and it just shoots right out. It just grows. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you had to start over 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
You care to let us in on that a little bit? You know how you
Yes.
first
First place I had was a booty shop. When I say booty shop, I mean booty shop. I mean everything was coming through the door. The boosters was coming through the door. The sister that was selling, the dinners was coming through the door, and it was just so much energy. And being naive and not knowing how to be a boss, my idea was, let me open up this place, and then I can get people to come in and work. Not necessarily work for me, but just come in and work. You know what I mean? So I just woke up one day and went to the owner and said, I'm not coming back. So I left. And then when I left, I was not naive because I didn't tell my clients I was leaving. I just left. I just shut down. But when I did that, I woke up one morning and realized you ain't got no cash flow. What you gonna do now? So I had to start over there. And then I got it together, and then I moved to the Valley, and I rented a professional office spot, and I worked out of there. And I told myself I'm going to buy me a house. And when I still thinking I'm going to be in California, when I buy my house, I'm going to take a room and just convert it over to my work area. And then I moved from there to here. Okay. So that was really the start over. That's why I can wake up happy now. Because I had cried enough for everybody. I have prayed enough for everybody. And true story, the military just passed that the sisters can wear their hair down now, right? So I'm in about 7 in the morning. I'm walking through Sam's and I see a sister in uniform and she has this ponytail. And as she walked, her ponytail just reminded me of Barbie. She just looked so cute with her little hat on. And her little ponytail was going back and forth. I was trying to catch her with her and say, hey, sister, you're beautiful today. But I realized that was one of the things that I prayed for. And then I just got to the point, instead of praying for the same thing over and over and over again, every time it hits my mind, I'd be like, thank you, Heavenly Father, because I know that's going to manifest. And as I was leaving out the store, she was getting in her car, and I realized, oh my God, he answered my prayers again. So then I just start crying. It has nothing to do with nobody else, but this is my journey. This is my passion. This is my purpose, is to try to educate as many African Americans I can on our hair and our history, because it's fading away and it's scary. It's scary for me to talk to these, 25, 26 years old, and they have no idea the hell we went through just so you can wear your nappy fro to work.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many sisters that had the knowledge and had the skills that got jobs, and they went swimming and they didn't get a chance to press their hair out, and they're going to work and they're like, no, you can't. Your hair offends me. It's hard for me to look at it. You know what I mean? So that's what that Crown Act is all about. So people cannot put their personal opinions on your hairstyle.
Yeah, the Crown Act. I think we need
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Yeah, that's what that's about. Yeah. It's like we're all are just sick and tired about certain things. You know what I mean? So it was some sisters that got together with Dove Soap Company, and they are sponsoring us, and they know there's just a simple injustice all the way around, especially for my little babies from like preschool all the way up to higher education, corporate America. In the military, you can't get no more corporate America than that. You know, since they don't pass, everybody else better get information.
I remember when it first passed, and a couple of women in my squadron, they started with the really short ones. Man, but that was an exciting day for me because I'm like, LJ's mother, she used to have the micro braids, and I remember she'd get them and love them, and then she had to put them into the ball to make it fit,
Yep.
regulation, and all the struggles with
Yep.
that. And I'm like, why can't you just wear it out?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I have sisters that come to me that I know have put 26, 27 years in, and they've been forced to wear their hair back till they losing their edges. You need to go to the dermatologist and you need to tell that man that it's really messing with you mentally, because this hair would never come back and it would never would have happened if you didn't have to be in that uniform that way. So they got sick and tired of giving, sisters their extra little 10% and their disability, and the brothers who shave, their skins got all messed up. So yeah, they need to fix all that. So I'm happy that the elders are dying off and the civil rights babies are coming in.
that's right.
It's
That
out
is
here
right.
to the world. Yeah, those 80, 90 years old, they just bloop, 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 bloop. I'd be like, rest in peace, get out the way.
It is time. It is time.
Yeah, so I back to the Crown Act. Check your particular area, and it's how it sounds, Crown Act, and check in and see where your area is at. It has came to Congress, and the Republicans voted, and the Republicans signed, the Democrats has not signed, which means all the states across the board, it'll be done. It came up again for the state of Texas, and I thought they was going to pass it. They did not pass it, but Austin's mayor passed for his area. So I'm just trying to wait till all this politics stuff gets settled in and everybody gets settled in their new jobs and stuff. And if I have to, then I will go to our mayor and our city officials and say, hey, you need to pass this for San Antonio. And we can just do it individual. Texas is one of those hard states. I'm not going to say they don't care about me and my hair. I'm just going to say they don't know that they need to care about me.
The weird thing about Texas is you got the three major metros, San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. And that's the majority of where you got your diverse communities, your Black people.
Mm-hmm.
But the voting power is spread equally over these less populated areas, like way out in the square, like, Abilene and
the small town
Midland and Odessa and all East Texas and Longview and all of these areas that are sparsely, but they still have the same voting power, and we're not represented well in those areas.
Yes. So we all need to do our part.
But the Crown Act is out here good and popping out here in DC and Virginia.
Oh my God. When I went to DC, I was blessed to go there when Barack first got, took office. And me and my daughter, we just went to hang out, and I seen so many brothers with twists and locks. And I was watching at a girlfriend's house, an old client. I just called her and said, hey, I got your guest bedroom for one of your kin folks. Call for it because we coming. And sitting there watching television, and the chief of fire station, he had little short locks, and I was like, wow. I have an African American pilot. I used to do his locks, and I would do them right here where they wouldn't touch the collar. So they couldn't say nothing because you are in uniform. You know what I mean? Everybody else got short hair. You can have short hair and have your locks.
Nobody touched it.
We can fix that. We got a solution for that, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so that's when I just really got all excited and actually started looking for more male clients for some reason because those brothers was just so beautiful. You know, they was just so beautiful. Yeah. In all the different sizes and the different twist styles. Because the first time my son went to like, that's a girl, that's a baby style. And then I thought about, you know, my homie Snoop Dogg in them, you know, wearing the two ponytails and the double balls with plaits in their head. And I was like, come on, bro.
I actually wanted to grow some of those back in the 90s, so I'm not going to say nothing.
I was like, come on, bro. Come on. Yeah, so everybody look out for the Crown Act. The Crown Act is very, very, very important. October is Women Empowerment Month, you know, and in October, I will be doing my drive looking for members for the San Antonio Natural Hair Society. I launched this off in 19, COVID hit, everybody kind of like went down, and then when 21 came, we didn't know exactly what to do. So yeah, now that we kind of know where we at and what we're working with, yeah, I'm calling out all the braiders and all the lock technicians in the surrounding areas. I'm looking for serious people who's trying to figure out, I'm getting a client, but they're not doing repeat business. You know what I mean? I can give you those secrets. It is not for me to sit here and say, hey, give me, you know, $20,000. I get no, sister, I want to give you the secret now. So you can get started now. So by the time this housing crisis is over, I want to see at least 10 sisters buying their houses through working with their hands by doing natural hair. I want to be able to walk into any car dealership and say I'm a braiding artist, and a car salesman don't like I'm speaking a foreign language. Like
Definitely.
people pay you money to braid their hair. Yeah, they paid me enough of money to buy this house and 6 cars. Not bragging, just saying I have to work hard for this and I got to work hard to maintain it, but I'm working for me and I'm doing what I love. You know, sometimes I wake up in a bad mood and I get on that head and I zoom out and I catch my rhythm, and all of a sudden I just start to feel better. I'm an artist. You know, I'm an artist first. And I tell these young women, what you're doing is art. I tell a young man, what you're doing is art. Everybody can't do it like that. I always say at least 80% of African American women know how to do hair. They're going to do it. They're going to know how to press it. They're going to know how to put a perm in it. They're going to know how to put some color in it. But that does not make you a braiding artist nor a cosmetologist. And you get your cousin who see it and they just want to do it, and then they put it in and they do it for you, and you think you said, and this time for your maintenance, third time, cousin be like, I'm not doing that. That take too long. I done did it for you twice. Why you copping the attitude with me? You better go on there and pay Davette and them.
They go on and pay Davette and them.
And
just do it right the first time.
That used to be my motto. Do it right the first time. Don't waste your time, your energy, or your money. Yeah. Yeah.
The fix is gonna cost more than just doing it right the first time.
And then this one lady, she says, well, the Africans don't charge as much as you. I said, this is not an African shop. So why do you charge so much? And I started to point at my glory wall because I got 6 more certificates of classes I have taken from other masters that I have not hung up. I pointed at the wall and I says 40 years of experience and I know what I'm doing. I says, now you want me to find you an African? I can. You want me to find someone on your side of town? I can do that too. My sister, I'm not hungry today. This is not 1991, 92, 93, and 94. Those days are over. Those days are gone. And my dream is to make sure, like I said, at least 10. I said I need 7. 6, 6, I make 7. If I can get 6 people mentally on my level, on the skills that I have, we can put on some awesome seminars.
Yeah.
When I say international, I mean international. My Facebook page is going to countries that I had to hit translate to see what they're talking about. And at first it was scary, but you know what happened? I didn't yell international so much. Tell us now international.
There
And,
you go.
and I don't even know
Okay.
how it happened. It just happened. You know, I called the guy, Dana Brown. I says, hey, these people, what is this language? He says, well, send me a picture. He says, oh, that's Turkish. Oh, that's Spanish. Oh, he said, Davette, you're international. So I'm getting artists all over the world. You know, just saying, what you doing over there? What's going on with y'all? If I can just get the rest of them to recognize that they're international, we be straight.
Nah, you straight. You straight. Let them know. Do it the same way you did the others.
Yeah. And I have another sister's here. She has her shop. She's over there teaching and she's training. And I let people know she exists. You know what I mean? Because I can't reach everybody, but we need to reach each other. We need to let some of these babies know, like these girls that graduated from high school 2 or 3 years ago. They bring people here to church and they're not really working. You know what I mean? Send those sisters over to me. They awkward because they're artists and they don't know what to do.
Facts.
They have to
Facts.
find their passion. It might not be braiding hair. It might not be locking hair. It could be that they seamstress. It could be that, you know, they want to plant plants. I don't know. But send these young people to me because we got a whole generation of folks that we have to raise that I'm not saying that they all are lost, but they scary.
No, they if they lost, then we just got to show them the way. We
That's,
have to show
yeah,
them the way.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. And they better give me while I'm here because when I'm gone, I'm gone.
Exactly. Tomorrow ain't promised.
Yeah, like he said, I am here. I am here. I am here. Don't be afraid to call me. I put my drawers on the same way you do. Call me, girl. Call me, man. I am here. Yes, I am here. But I have formulated and this is nothing new. This is not something I just came up with. I just came up with my experiences and other classes I have taken in the past and dealing with other master braiders and master lock technicians, and I came up with a complete program. The braiding program, if you take all the classes, will run you around $3,000. No, I do not want you to go take out no loans. I want you to slowly just build it. And as you build it, then I will give you a certificate for each class. Once you completed all the classes, you take the master class and test out. Then we can give you your certification saying that you are a certified braider or you are a certified lock technician. And then you can say, I am worth my $50 an hour. Now, if you don't feel like you're not worth $50 an hour, that's okay too.
Did y'all hear that? You see that? Contact her right there. Davette's Braids and Locks.
It's
Hit
okay.
her up.
It's okay. You know what I mean? I want you to be comfortable where you're at and to do what's comfortable for you. I teach techniques that I don't even sell because when I do those techniques, they make me feel like I'm working. I got some techniques I can, then I got other, I got to pay attention. This is work for my mind. I don't want to do that. Every Italian restaurant do not have pizza on the menu.
That's right.
You put
That
on
is
your
a fact.
menu what you want to sell and what you're comfortable in selling, and you stick with that and you master that. And then people be waiting outside to get in your chair for that.
That's a life hack right there.
Yeah, don't
Don't
try
be
to
so
master.
master what you master.
Yes. 213-637-1196. San Antonio LOCS locks.com. Reach out.
Wait a minute. One more time. What's that phone number?
213, I'm sorry, 210.
I'm about to say, okay, where's that from? Never heard of that.
210-637-1196.
And
Now,
the website
if
is.
you use somebody else's number, they'd be like, why did that do that to me? That's the
And
bad.
what's the website again?
It's San Antonio Locks, LOCS.com.
Look at that. Easy.
Yeah. It's real easy. Davette Braids and Locks. It's on Facebook. Davette, that's all. It's my Facebook page where all my artists is at. So I have a lot of different artists, all kinds of artists from all over the world. It's on Davette's. Yeah. So check that out. Davette's Braids and Locks. And San Antonio Natural Hair Society also is the business page on Facebook. So
Well,
yeah.
I know your time is valuable, our time too. But before we go, I want you to leave us. You've been dropping gems all this interview, but leave us with your personal mantra, your personal, words of wisdom that you want to share with the people about life, locks, anything you choose.
When they say don't sweat the small stuff, don't sweat it because it always passes. Everybody has went through something where it messed with your mind for 3 or 4 days. Sometimes it'd be a couple of months. We'd be assessing over stuff, and then you just wake up and know it cross your mind no more. Everything passes.
Mm,
Everything passes. So don't dwell on it too hard. When I find myself doing that, I go and I create a new goal. I always wanted to paint those rocks outside purple. I'm going to get me some purple paint and I'm going to paint those rocks. So I don't mess myself up by overthinking of something that I have no control over. And when you say you're giving it to God, give it to Him.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, as African American people, especially the ones of us who come for nothing, we have to learn that we don't have to have everything that we desire. So instead of going out there and trying to spend that $90 on a Louis Vuitton knockoff belt, take those 20s and stash them and save them. Because you can buy something much better when you got $500 versus $100.
There
So
you go.
play the stash of 20. And when you're stashing your 20s, don't tell nobody.
And if you can find a vehicle that got a good interest rate, do that
Use
too.
your 20. So you have a 20, stash it is spent. Get another 20. I got $60. All I need is two more 20s. I have $100. You got that $100? Stash it. Next thing you know, you got $400. You got $500. Then when you stash it, don't look at it because it's spent.
Mhm.
Just keep stashing it. Pay your bill. And we don't have to be down to get those little things to make us, life a lot easier. It's just everyday stuff that we've been brainwashed to think that we have to do it a certain way. And
Mhm.
when I read that Malachi book, I got something totally different and I was confused about it. But God came to me in different directions and told me what it was all about. It was about being a happy giver.
That's
You
it.
can pay your tithes and have an attitude, it can't come back to you. You
There
can't
you
do
go.
somebody wrong and expect good to come to you. It's getting blocked.
You're gonna get back what you put out.
Yes, yes. And it comes to you. You don't have to go looking for it. It'll come.
It'll find you.
So that's it.
All
That's
right.
all.
That's it, and that's all. I see what you did there.
Yeah, one of my little friends years ago, Roy Sullivan, he set up my first Facebook page, and he was like, "So what do you want to call it?" Like, I don't care. He says, "Davette, give me a name." I'm like, "Davette, that's all." And he actually put Davette, that's all. So I'm
There
like,
you go. And it's stuck.
20 years later, that's who I am. Davette, that's all. I tell him nappy edges and no lashes, but I still feel pretty.
That's right. That is right. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Wonderful. But if anybody have any questions or, like I said, you're curious, I have a thing where you can come in and I can evaluate you. It's $150, but I have taken it down to $35 because I want people to get through the door just so I can evaluate them and say, yeah, you need a class on this. And if they got it, I'll be like, no, girl, next time just do this. You know what I mean? If they absolutely don't know, yes, pay me for my knowledge.
That's right. That's
You know
right.
what I mean? But I think if you're doing something correctly and I feel you can go charge somebody, I'm be like, go make your money, sis. When you're ready to learn another class, I'm here. Let me get you through the levels. Yeah, and I want us all to be able to be aware of each other. So if one of us is in a crisis, we can step up to the plate
There you go.
to be able to live. And what's so crazy, we just got back from DC. We went down to view the African American Museum. Must do. Anybody make it to that area, you have to go through the African American Museum. It's going to take
You
you a
do.
couple of days to go through. You have to. It's our life.
Yep.
I got a couple of things I'm going to talk to the director about. Like they don't have the brother Willie Morrow is the man who created the California curl. Okay.
Okay.
Willie Morrow is also the African American male who did the first Afro pick here in America. He's the first person who manufactured the African comb here in America. And he's also that barber who basically consulted the military on how to cut African Americans' hair and shave them. He was not mentioned in that museum. And it's only probably because they don't know about him.
Right.
You can't get everybody, and I understand that it's still growing, but yeah, I'm gonna tell them y'all need to right next to Madam C.J. Walker. Everybody knows her because she made $1 million by selling some hair grease. I'm saying Willie Morrow from the 50s has been my hero. He has a book, 400 Years Without a Comb, and it talks about our struggle that we had to go through when we first landed here, how we were treated, all the way up to the Jerry Curl era. Yeah, yeah. So the book is kind of rare. So if someone sees it online, buy it. Call me. I'll buy it from you. I'm not gonna give you no $1,000 for it though. But you know what I mean. I know a lot of people that can really appreciate that book, and I don't even know if Mr. Morrow still alive. I got a chance to speak with him once on the phone. It was very briefly because he couldn't hear me, but it was okay. I heard his voice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man, you gave us more than we bargained for. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's
Man.
so much more. It's so much more. But as you know, we can't be here forever.
Well, with that, we're going to close out like we always close out. Again, thank you so much for your time, for your contributions to my hometown. We appreciate you, and we're going to get the word out. You out the closet now, okay?
but San Antonio, my home now. I be claiming. I'm claiming now.
It's enough of us. Like
and everything.
It's not just one of us. We all claim it. So that works for me. That works for me.
Well, seriously, I love your energy. And I'm telling you, if you decide you're gonna lock your hair, you're coming home, call me ahead of time, and I will lay you in out of love, free of charge. Nope, no strings attached. I just want to see a brother locked up. That's all. Then you can stop doing that brush every day. Just let it slang. Think about it. Just think about it.
I'll think about it. But hey, I'm going to close like we always do. Listen, I can't help myself. I've got to inspire. I've got to empower. I've got to encourage. But I can't help myself by being the absolute best version of myself. And you can too. So why not we do it together?
you.